What if the thing you're most afraid of is the exact thing you need to stop trying to control? Think about it. You can plan your entire day, and one phone call can change everything. You can love someone deeply, and still lose them. You can work harder than everyone around you, and still get rejected. You can do everything right, and somehow, life still doesn't go according to plan. And that's the part nobody teaches you. You are never going to have complete control. But here's the strange part. That might actually be good news. Because what if your obsession with knowing what's coming next is what's stopping you from fully living what is happening right now? Most of us spend our lives trying to control things we were never given control over. What people think about us, what someone will say, whether someone will stay, whether we'll succeed, when our opportunity will come, what happens tomorrow. We create entire conversations in our heads before they even happen. You send a message, and they don't reply. Suddenly you're Sherlock Holmes. Why did they use a full stop? Why did they take 3 hours? Why did they say, okay, instead of okay? Your brain has already produced 3 seasons of a Netflix series. And the other person might simply be sleeping. That's what uncertainty does. It makes the mind uncomfortable. So the mind tries to fill the gaps. And sometimes, it fills them with the worst possible story. But ask yourself, how much of your life have you spent worrying about things that never happened? Think about the things you were terrified of 5 years ago. Some happened. Some didn't. And some probably weren't even worth the amount of sleep you lost over them. Yet we keep doing it. We worry about tomorrow, while tomorrow is busy becoming today. Here's something powerful. You don't control what happens, but you control how you respond. You don't control whether someone rejects you, but you control whether rejection destroys you, or redirects you. You don't control whether an opportunity appears, but you control whether you're prepared when it does. You don't control what someone thinks about you, but you control how you live. And this is where freedom begins. Not when life becomes predictable, but when you realize, you don't need life to be predictable to be okay. And here's the part nobody wants to hear. Sometimes, the thing you're desperately trying to control isn't supposed to stay. A relationship, a job, a friendship, a plan, an old version of yourself. Sometimes life removes something because you were too afraid to let it go yourself. And at the time, it feels like destruction. But later, you realize it was redirection. Imagine you're driving at night. You can only see the road a few meters ahead because your headlights don't illuminate the entire journey. But you don't stop driving because you can't see the destination. You simply keep moving because you can see enough of the road to take the next turn. Life works the same way. You don't need to know what happens 5 years from now. You don't even need to know what happens next month. Sometimes, you only need to know your next step. And maybe that's the lesson. The future isn't asking you to understand it. It's asking you to meet it. But we want the entire map. We want God to send us a PDF. Here is your complete life plan. Page 1, don't worry. Page 2, everything works out. Page 47, stop texting that person. Page 83, you should have listened. But life doesn't work like that. And honestly, if we knew everything that was coming, we might ruin some of the best surprises. Think about it. If you knew exactly who you'd meet, exactly where you'd live, exactly what you'd achieve, exactly how every relationship would end, would life still feel like life? Part of what makes life meaningful is that you don't know. You don't know which conversation will change you. You don't know which failure will redirect you. You don't know which opportunity is waiting around the corner. You don't know who you'll become. And that's terrifying. But it's also beautiful. Because uncertainty means possibility still exists. So instead of asking, what if everything goes wrong? Try asking, what if I can handle whatever happens? That's a completely different mindset. You don't need to guarantee a perfect future. You need to trust your ability to face an imperfect one. You can lose something and rebuild. You can fail and learn. You can be rejected and continue. You can get lost and find another direction. Your strength isn't knowing what happens next. Your strength is knowing you'll figure it out when you get there. Maybe you're in a season right now where nothing makes sense. You're waiting for an answer, waiting for money, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for someone to come back, waiting for your life to finally feel like it's moving. And you're wondering, when is everything going to make sense? Maybe you don't need the answer yet. Maybe this chapter isn't supposed to make sense. Maybe you're learning patience. Maybe you're learning independence. Maybe you're becoming stronger. Maybe you're being redirected. You won't always understand the road while you're walking it. Sometimes, you understand it only after you've reached the destination. So stop trying to predict every chapter. Stop rehearsing conversations that haven't happened. Stop worrying about problems that don't exist yet. Stop demanding certainty from a life that was never designed to give it. Take care of what you can control. Your choices, your effort, your character, your response, your next step, and let the rest unfold. Because maybe the future isn't something you need to figure out. Maybe it's something you need to experience. You don't know what happens next. And that's okay. You don't know who you'll meet. You don't know what you'll lose. You don't know what you'll achieve. You don't know how your story ends. And maybe that's the point. Because if you already knew the ending, you wouldn't need courage. You wouldn't need faith. You wouldn't need hope. So take the next step. Even if you can't see the whole staircase. Trust yourself enough to keep moving. Because sometimes, the most beautiful parts of your life are hiding inside the things you haven't planned yet. You can't control what happens next. And maybe that's exactly why you should keep going.